There's an emerging phenomenon called AI psychosis, where people can't seem to tell the difference between what's artificial, what's real, and their behavior changes radically, drastically, accordingly. This is a video that illustrates it pretty well. There's the URL up at the top, and there's the title. Here's the date it was posted. We're going to get into some clips later on, but right now, let's see what AI psychosis actually is. Here's what Google AI says about AI psychosis. You can just type in AI psychosis into the Google search engine and it will bring this up. And it tells quite a bit about it. In essence, a person creating things, content for YouTube, can be suffering from AI psychosis, and people who watch it can be infected and be effectively overcome by AI psychosis. It's normally for at-risk, i.e. gullible types. And that's what it says here. It's an emerging phenomenon with chatbots, etc., for individuals losing touch with reality, often believing AIs are sentient or in control, or are actually a person, a celebrity, someone they think they trust, and it's really a deep fake. This is something YouTube needs to get a handle on. I don't know when it's going to happen, but let's get right into it. Now, this is a British bot, British voiced AI bot. My guess is it's a Catty K AI voice style text-to-speech reader. And as I say several times, no American media company would ever feature a British voice media broadcaster. Catty K is a guest appearance on things like The Morning Show, Morning Joe. She has a podcast with Anthony Scaramucci, but the face on this is not Catty K. They wouldn't dare. She'd sue them. Anthony Scaramucci would sue them. And so you have some person hiding behind this who's usually clueless, spewing lies and misinformation. YouTube has become awash with just a litany of AI lie channels where people are just putting out stories about crap that has no basis in fact, and sometimes they're using the image of a famous person like Lawrence O'Donnell or Rachel Maddow, and sometimes they just use the voice that sounds like someone like Lawrence O'Donnell or Rachel Maddow. I recently saw one of Brian Tyler Cohen. They're getting out of control. Now here's one. I have no idea who this female is supposed to be, but this story is really way out there. It takes the cake because it talks about something that absolutely does not exist in the law. I can't imagine lawmakers doing this, but then again I can, because they're just that stupid to try it. Someone's just gonna write up something and go vote on it, and That isn't how it works. Now, I'm going to show you how it works, but let's just listen to the introduction here of this.
Enforcement mechanisms strong enough to compel.
Let's go to the beginning.
At 4:47 p.m. Eastern Time today, the United States Congress did something that has never happened in 249 years of American history. They voted to remove a sitting president under emergency constitutional authority. And that president...
No such thing. No such thing exists. Now, I don't know who this little British voice female is, but I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it again. No respectable American media channel would ever use a British voice AI to talk about American government issues. Now let's go see how you can vote to remove a sitting president. This is sadpack.com. There's the URL up at the top. And the very first link shows how it's done. Here is a ready-to-go resolution that could be used to remove Donald Trump as president, because he has done so many things in rebellion to the Constitution of the United States. This resolution lists many of them, but since this resolution was drafted, he's done more. But this is how it's done. You invoke House Rule 9, and I encourage you just to go here, and then you delineate the charges and dates and times, and you file this. It only takes one member to file it. Then the entire House must vote on it, and he must reach a 2/3 majority vote to excuse the unconstitutional conduct. And if he doesn't, he's barred from holding office, which means if you're in office and you're barred from holding office, you are removed from office. This is the expedient way rather than impeachment through a resolution. This is not an article of impeachment, but this is the true constitutional way to do it, not what this AI British voice female talking head is talking about.
The president looked at the vote, looked at the Constitution, and said no. I am not leaving. We are now in a three-way collision between...
And Trump would be right. Looked at the vote, looked at the Constitution, and said no. Because there's no such provision for any such thing. Now, I don't believe this even ever happened, but there's the URL up at the top. You're welcome to go listen to this whole thing if it's still up, because something tells me YouTube might take this one down. There is no such provision in the Constitution for this BS that this channel is promoting. Now, she says such and such and such today. I don't know what today is, but the day it was posted was January 26, 2026. Now, as you can see, there are the number of views, and there are the number of people subscribed to the channel. This is all about getting YouTube ads to insert, because most people are watching on the YouTube viewer, which is going to insert ads every 10 to 15 minutes. It depends. and they'll get paid. And it can be absolute garbage, and they'll get paid. The URLs that the advertisers are expecting to give them results for ads, they're just getting ripped off, because this is lunacy. This is crazy. There's a summary. A dramatic escalation of political tensions. Okay, there's no escalation of political tensions. It's you either do it or you don't. See, and if you're going to do it, you do something that the Constitution absolutely provides for. Article 2, Section 4 speaks of impeachment, and then how impeachment works, and later on we'll show you what the AI overview is that says how it works. It's impeachment in the House, trial in the Senate, and if you get 2/3 the vote in the Senate to remove you, then you're out. The more expedient way to do it is if you've done something constitutionally rebellious, which is what this video is trying to talk about, then you use Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And it becomes a disability. Not the 25th Amendment, but it's the same thing. If you're too stupid to know what the Constitution says, and you've done something that doesn't allow you to effectively govern properly under the Constitution, it's on a call of a disability vote under a rebellious act to the Constitution, which is a polite way of saying you're too stupid to follow the Constitution, you're rebellious, so get out of office. I don't know what to say. These types of videos are quite frankly angering. They're angering. Just a few more minutes of this witch.
Between Congress, the courts, and the executive branch, and nobody knows how this ends. If you care about...
Because you don't know what the Constitution says. The courts have nothing to do with it. The executive branch has nothing to do with it. Congress, if they've done it right, that's it. It's over. How is it enforced? It's over. If they come to a vote and he doesn't meet the 2/3 in both houses under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, properly drafted, filed resolution, then he's no longer the president. He's barred from holding office. He's removed from office because he's barred from holding office any further. That's it. He's out. Then the Supreme Court swears in this case, the way the resolution is structured, his entire administration is out because the resolution goes back to January 6, 2021. So his entire administration would be out. That's how it works. Not this ridiculous, we don't know, but nobody knows what happens. Then first of all, don't look at a face reading some crap to you, talking to you. Look at the proof. Nobody is showing you any proof. I just did. Now, this is an AI BS channel, as already said. I don't know who this person is supposed to be, but one of the telltale signs is they always seem to love these British accents. Any respectable American media organization, and YouTube is supposed to be an American company, would never have a British accent news media presenter. They just wouldn't. She talks about, we've never had a president. We, with your British accent? Really? Really? No, I don't think so. this is an AI generated image. Nothing else moves but her mouth. And let me show you. Let's just listen to a second of this. If it'll even play.
Both times. That is the constitutional mechanism everyone knows. This is not that. What happened today was not an impeachment.
Okay. What happened today? One day ago, January 26, 2026, is when this vote was supposed to have occurred. Yet there's nowhere in the congressional record about it.
Vote. It was a removal order issued under Article 2, Section 4.
As said before, no such thing. Now, let me show you what YouTube is bringing up. One on the left, AI with Rachel Maddow. Next one, AI Warren Buffett. The one in the middle, AI unknown. Did 8 trillion get printed? Another AI Rachel Maddow. Here's an AI with can't call his name. George Will. Warrant issued. AI, another Rachel Maddow. U.S. drivers beware. Law changing. I don't know if that's AI. Let's look at it later. Another AI, Ivanka Trump, subpoenaed. Here's another AI, global boycotts started. Affordability. Why such high costs? Don't know about that one. Here's another AI with, I don't know if this is AI, but that's Jeffrey Sachs. Now this Hitler thing here, that's a old historical thing. So let's look at the Jeffrey Sachs quickly.
12 members of Congress have just put their names on a formal impeachment resolution targeting Donald Trump. And listen, this isn't a performative stunt. This isn't some harmless political headline designed to...
But it is.
24 hours.
It is. And this is an AI of Jeffrey Sachs. Impeachment is useless. And, Americans seem to be the ultimate stupidity of stupid beyond stupid. Impeachment was basically dismissed and dissolved for Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. That's what the so-called Reconstruction era was all about. They didn't take it out of the Constitution, but they replaced it with a more expedient manner of removing someone from office or preventing them from ever taking office, or both. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. These idiots in Congress, these idiots in the media, every idiot on YouTube, they can't seem to read and understand how that works. The Supreme Court in Trump v. Anderson told you exactly how it works. A private resolution is filed, meaning it has to name some specific person. Then it names something they've done that is unconstitutional, something in rebellion to the Constitution. Not something they did in error, unless they won't correct it, but something they did in rebellion to the Constitution, clearly knowing it was unconstitutional. Then Congress, some one member, files a resolution, much like a censure resolution, naming this issue, what they did, and the person. It can be a governor of a state. It can be a police officer. It can be anyone in the United States that Congress wants to single out. It is not just the president, but it includes anybody up and until the president who is not following the Constitution. Well, here we have a Constitution that people don't even seem to understand how it works. They can't read plain English. Okay, Jeffrey Sachs AI. Let's go back to the witch.
January 2024. Same process, House impeaches,
And now
Senate tries, Trump was acquitted both times.
it has brought
That
up
is the constitutional mechanism everyone knows.
a different set of suggestions. The algorithm. On the left, 400 million, project halted. AI, Rachel Maddow. These two is Dave's Auto in Centerville, Utah. He's real. Back to AI, Senate in chaos, Rachel Maddow. U.S. drivers beware. We were going to take a look at that. Cummins versus Detroit Diesel. That's a real documentary. What's the U.S. drivers beware?
If you drive anywhere in America, February 2026 could quietly turn into one of the most expensive months you've ever had behind the wheel. Not because gas...
Don't know if this is true or not, but there's a URL at the top. You can stop at the ampersand PP and go watch it yourself. It basically says if you're over 65 or 70, there's going to be increased examination requirements for you to keep a driver's license. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Some of these people out here are literally too old to drive, and I don't know what to say. But this is another AI. This may be true text-to-speech, true fact AI. But this is another AI. Anytime you have a talking head and they're not showing you anything, and he's not going to show you anything throughout this whole video, that's an AI.
Trial in the Senate.
Back to the witch. Let's just zip to the middle here.
But sources say he convened a meeting of all senior intelligence officials at 8:45 p.m. tonight.
Sources. 8:45 p.m. tonight. Okay. Once again, she has not shown you anything but claimed what I'm about to show you. The documents that I have. None of it has been done. It's an AI lie.
This is actually the most dangerous outcome because it does not resolve anything. It freezes the situation in constitutional limbo.
And that's right. Because they've done something that's not there. There is no constitutional provision to do this. I don't think it has been done at all. And that's what's wrong. YouTube has turned into a garbage heap. Let's see what the suggestions are. Another Warren Buffett, AI. Jack Smith, AI. Something about Patel, that's another AI channel. I don't know who this woman is, but billionaires abandon. Now, Midas Touch, we all know who that is. You know, Mr. Manic. But here, billionaires avoid.
This is the financial apocalypse they said would never happen. For a decade, Donald Trump has built his empire on the backs of billionaire donors, mega corporations.
Now, there's another one much like this, except on the left, she's not showing pictures. And it's her again in the same library setting with the same speech, same story. It's AI. This is all about the courts trying to seize his money. And it's true, it may cause problems. You're welcome to go listen to this one. The URL is there up at the top.
Advisory. That is the entire ballgame. When someone with enough power decides to ignore it. Because here is the fundamental question at the heart of this crisis. Does the Constitution work because people believe in it, or because it has enforcement mechanisms strong enough to compel obedience for two?
You have to actually use the Constitution before you can make it work. Because everything that this video has talked about, and you're welcome to go listen to this BS. There's a URL up at the top. Everything she has said in here is not in the Constitution. None of it. There is no Emergency Powers Act. There's no court provisions. The Supreme Court has already said we don't have jurisdiction in Trump v. Anderson. They already said it. They said Congress has a jurisdiction. Well, if Congress tries to do something unconstitutional, they don't have power if it's not constitutional. Congress can't just vote to remove the president. They can vote under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to either excuse his unconstitutional, rebellious acts under the Constitution, which will then bar him from holding office ever again, which will then remove him from office if he's holding office now. And that works, but not what this video is saying. This is absolute BS. I wish these people, these monkeys behind these channels would stop. But this is all about making it run for 35 minutes so that if it runs on YouTube, at least 2 or 3 ads are going to be injected, and they're going to get paid for these lying ass garbage videos. That's what's going on here. Midas touch. Wow. Well, another AI BS story. The Belmont Tribunal, D.C., don't know that one. That maybe is true. But the rest of these are AI. And then you have these 3i Atlas, deep space AIs that frankly don't know what they're talking about. This is supposed to be a Brian Cox one. You know.
What if I told you that the most powerful telescope
and there's a disclaimer
has ever
that pops up
has been peering so far across the cosmos that it's capturing sights that simply shouldn't be there.
And we don't care. We don't care. You're welcome to go listen to it. There's the URL up at the top. You know, this is just BS.
This is about whether Constitution.
And what she's about to say says it all. Whether Constitution
text means anything when someone with enough power decides to ignore it.
The constitutional text does not say what you just said in this entire video. That's not what it says. It doesn't say anything about that. The only place it says anything about removing them from office is, yes, Article 2, Section 4. But it speaks to impeachment. And that was before Section 3 of the 14th Amendment was written, which supersedes Article 2, Section 4. You can still be removed by impeachment, but a court does not handle impeachment. The Senate does. Impeached in the House, tried in the Senate. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment bypasses all that with the same constitutional mechanism. Here's Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And this is an AI overview, but it tells you, ratified after the Civil War to prevent former Confederates from returning to power. And it's automatic disability, but doesn't apply until someone actually files a resolution claiming the disability for whatever reason for rebellious acts to the Constitution. Enforcement is one of the problems. And you're welcome to go look this up. But this is the only other way that a person can be either barred from office or removed. If you're barred from holding office, it can be done at any time. And that's what the Supreme Court said. It can be done at any time. Look up Trump v. Anderson. Ruling is 23-719. Go to page 8 and page 9 where the meat of it is. And it tells you it can be used against any officer in government in the United States, federal or state.